Out for a little cruise on the FJR1300, breaking this crazy weather. I'm telling you, that adjustable windshield on this bike is just awesome. It just takes the wind noise down by a lot. There's a lot I like about this bike. It's a 2005, I bought from a friend of mine who commuted on it, took good care of it. 72,000 miles currently, which sounds high for a motorcycle, but there are FJRs up in the 200,000 mile mark. It's a 4-cylinder motor. It's like a little car motor, really. So instead of 2 cylinders taking the abuse, you got 4. In theory, they should last a little bit longer. So yeah, I believe that. But this bike is just super comfortable. Coming off a Buell 1125R sport bike, which is tons of fun. Sometimes the wrong kind of fun. For anything that has any long distance possibilities, a bike like this FJR is 100% better than that sport bike, at least for my old body. Yeah, lucky day here, November 10th, sunny. We had some crazy ass winds yesterday that knocked out power to a bunch of places. And then before that had rain and wind, so we did a quick weather check. Looks like we're gonna get a couple hours of decent, so doing a little lunch break cruise, my favorite little tour around lake up here in the back of the hills of Snohomish County. Also testing out the GoPro 9 Media Mod with the back microphone enabled, so we'll see how well that does for recording. It's an interesting time of year to ride out here in the Pacific Northwest, November, October, because the leaves are falling and you get a lot of the brown, wet, dead leaves on the road, which we call brown death, because it'll take you out in no time if you're not careful. A lot of farm activity out here, so dirt roads, gravel roads, trucks bringing gravel onto the pavement, which also is dicey. I won't be pushing my luck today out here. Just gonna go for a little bit of a cruise. I like the sound of the motor on this bike too. My last 2 bikes, the Buell and a 2001 Harley Davidson Super Glide T-Sport, those bikes were so loud. So I get the concept of loud pipes save lives, but there's a whole bunch more than that that goes into saving your own life when you're on a motorcycle out here on the roads. Washington drivers are idiots, for one. 2, they can't get a piece of legislation through that allows lane splitting, which, you know, comes with its own set of risks. I know you California riders in other states have pretty much trained your drivers. Be wary of lane splitting motorcycles. If we ever do get that passed up here in Washington, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. This is only my 3rd ride on this bike. So far, so good. Both rides have been about half hour, 45 minutes, which really isn't much in the grand scheme of things. Just kind of getting a feel for the riding position, which is nice, a little more relaxed. This bike's got bar risers, you can probably see, and that helps a lot. Raise the bars up, bring them back a little bit. Foothills of the Cascade Mountains, very close to Highway 2. Going to Leavenworth is one of our favorite rides to go and grab lunch in Leavenworth. It's a nice drive along Highway 2, along the river, very scenic. Lane splitting in Washington State. I could really use lane splitting capability in what I would call my commute into work. I've got a highway that they haven't finished yet. It's 2 lanes starting out from where I live down to 1 lane, and then it goes back to 2 lanes. But as you would imagine, that thing just clogs up. It backs up. It backs way into the 2-lane road too. Being able to legally navigate our way between stopped vehicles, literally stopped, would help us a ton. Unfortunately, the current political climate in the state of Washington, which has been this way for the last 30 years, is very much like their control, and prefer to minimize the amount of freedoms the average Washingtonian has. Those of you in this state know exactly what I'm talking about. Those of you on the West Coast know what I'm talking about. One thing I have noticed on a positive note is there's been a ton of improvements to roads out here off the beaten path in the country, like this 2-lane double yellow and the white, the very distinct white side of the road. These roads are dark and twisty, and we get rain and other weather, and it's nasty even in a four-wheeled vehicle. There's been a lot of improvements to these roads. They've added reflective turtles and the yellow lines. It doesn't make the idiots drive any less idiotic, but when it's dark and crappy, it definitely helps. Speaking of that, this FJR, my buddy upgraded the low beams to LED. Haven't had a chance to test those yet, but he's told me that he noticed an improvement, which is good. Anytime you can get more lighting on a motorcycle, the better. I did a similar thing to my Buell 1125R, put LEDs in the low beams, and that made a huge difference. I will most likely be adding additional lighting to this light. More lighting is better. I'm open to suggestions. If anybody has good ideas for auxiliary lighting for an FJR1300, drop it in the comments. Love to hear it.